Thanks again for joining me in what is the third and final episode of the 18 fragrances that are discontinued masterpieces, or that I consider masterpieces. Again, coming to you inspired by this book right here, which I will mention once again, is Axioms and Digressions by TGRMSK, and I am wearing the hoodie as well, and it's a very nice hoodie. It's making me warm and fuzzy inside. It's also inspiring some thought, which is always a good thing when trying to exercise your wisdom. And axiom number 46 says, forgive and remember, or repeat and regret. So, thinking about all the discontinued fragrances that we lament not having, or lament not being around anymore, and then we celebrate them in online eulogies, and we sort of talk about them like they were the best thing in the world, and some of them were to us because we've got such strong memories tied to their scents, and it's lamentable that we cannot actually get them anymore, and that we are being held to ransom to get the things that we like. So let's kick off. I've done the episode number 1, which went through the bottom 6, and then I did episode number 2, which went through the middle 6, and now I'm going to do episode 3, which is the last 6. Okay, so kicking this one off is this one, which is called Nemo by Cacharel, and again, one of my favorite bottles of fragrance, and it's very unique, and I didn't really get this at the very beginning, and it took a while to grow on me, and I cannot, for the sake of me, I cannot describe this scent other than what it makes me do is it makes me think. It's really introspective. It really just makes you, because it sort of envelopes you in this private scent bubble, or a private scent cloud, because it's not greatly projecting. It wasn't a beast or anything. It wasn't screaming out for, hey, compliment me, hey, notice me, or anything like that. It was just for you. And I just thought, I don't get it. And then almost halfway through this bottle, I was sitting there and I caught a whiff of this, and I just went, oh, and it took me somewhere else. And ever since then, I understood it. I understood it enough to keep wearing it, number 1, and I understood it enough that when it finished, even though the prices were never that cheap for it, I had to get another bottle and another bottle. And so I have repurchased this a few times, as I've mentioned in the previous video, where I talk about the fragrances that I have repurchased because they were repurchase worthy. But this, again, wasn't really that popular. It wasn't really screaming out for attention. So there's not that much talk of it, but it is an absolute masterpiece of a fragrance. And I'm just so pissed that it's discontinued, because I would easily buy this again if people weren't trying to ransom my arm and leg for it on the grey market. So Nemo by Cacharel. If you have it, if you still have some, congratulations to you, you lucky bastard. But if you find one of these and they're reasonable, or if you can afford it, man, it's something else. You won't smell this on anyone else. Guarantee you that. Number 5 on this list is one that I haven't actually mentioned before, I haven't actually talked about before, and it's one that doesn't really get talked about all that often on any fragrance review channels. I'm pretty sure there's some reviews out there for it, but it's not very popular, and I think I know why. It's because it had a very short lifespan, and it was in that time when I was looking for a replacement for my lovely Gucci Pour Homme 1, and somebody said, why don't you try this, because it's kind of similar. So I tried it, and there was a time there that it was actually better than Gucci Pour Homme 1. So it then becomes my second most favorite fragrance of all time. And I'll tell you why it's second instead of first. It's this one. It is Louis by Rojas. It is probably the best thing they've done ever. The scent is still there. So good. It was like if Gucci Pour Homme 1 was church, and this was church when you were drinking lemonade, or something like that. Church when you're drinking lemonade, or you spilled lemonade on yourself and went to church, something like that. But it was so right for me. I think that lemonade came from the neroli that was up the top of this one, but it was a really weird mix. It was kind of like what neroli, what wood neroli is trying to do, but better, just way better, and more extreme. And so I was only able to afford this 50 ml bottle at the time, and by the time I had sort of gotten through it and fell in love with it completely, it had already been discontinued, and prices for it have been astronomical ever since. And because it wasn't that much of a big seller, there's really not that much of them around. And again, a fantastic scent, an absolute masterpiece. And if it was around longer, if I had another bottle of this, or access to another 100 ml bottle of this, and I wore it for longer and I had more memories tied to its scent, it would have topped the spot. It would have been my most favorite fragrance of all time, and then Gucci Pour Homme 1 would have been second. But because I had maybe gone through like 4 or 5 bottles of Gucci Pour Homme, and only 150 ml bottle of this, that one wins, and this one comes in second. I even like the bottle because it's rocking. Look at that. You can rock it like a real rocker. It's going, yeah. Anyway, that is number 5. Now, moving on to number 4. And number 4 is going to be a bit controversial because I'm going to say something and I'm probably going to cop a lot of heat for it. Okay? Here it is. It is Carven Homme. Not to be confused with Carven Pour Homme, which is a completely different fragrance. This is Carven Homme, and a lot of people liken this to Gucci's Envy, which everybody seems to love. And guess what? It's great. It's a fantastic scent. It is also a discontinued masterpiece. But you know what? I never got that one because I had this, and I thought out of the two, this was actually better. And I'm going to waste the spray, even though I've got a tiny bit of juice left. I'm still going to go for it. Oops. Oh no. Come on. There it is. That sandalwood, cinnamon, so good. Give me some more of that. Yeah, great. This one was more refined. This one is more refined. It was heaps cheaper than the Gucci, by the way. This was a $20 bottle for 100 ml, and now they sell for a lot more than that, but probably not as much as a Gucci Envy, which is great because you can pick this up and smell better than Gucci Envy. Guaranteed. Gucci Envy was rough, it was a bit more brash, it was a bit more unpolished. This one was more rounded and more wearable. So I would recommend this over the Envy, and that's why the Envy is not on this list of 18 discontinued masterpieces. Yeah, that plus I don't have a bottle with me, so I had to put this one here. But then again, it never swayed my decision because this was always better, and that's why I got this over that one. I had the chance to get it anyway. Cool. All right, moving on to number 3 on this list. We're getting to the top 3, the big hitters, and it's this one right here. It is Opium Pour Homme. This is strength. It is power. It is strength in a bottle, and it's probably not the thing that is associated with Opium Pour Homme, but that is it. This was only recently discontinued. Yeah, look at that. Atomizer is so good. Wow. What's that? Some kind of berry. It's some kind of berry in here, but like it's just so good. Man, blackberries? Anyway, Opium pour Homme. It's strength. It's for someone who is sure of themselves, they know who they are, and they are strong, and that's what they are. And I'll do a full review of this because I've written it up, and I can't wait to show you what I've written up for this because it's fantastic. But it's only been recently discontinued. It's still everywhere, so grab it. It is timeless. It is an absolute monster, and anyone who smells this will know. It is sophisticated, it can be dressed up, and most of the time you'd want to dress it up, but it's playful enough to actually be dressed down as well. So yeah, grab it. I think there's absolutely no one who would dislike something like this. So good. The longevity could be better because this is again, what is this from? 2018? This is from 2018, and I think it has been reformulated. If you have the original ones, here the red dot is actually in gold. So if you see a box with a gold dot like that, then that's the original formulation before it got reformulated to this one. And if you get the Eau de Parfum, because this is the Eau de Toilette, if you get the Eau de Parfum, that is even better than this because it's really amped up. So Opium pour Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, recently discontinued. You can still pick these up at around about 60 bucks a bottle. So get them before they go like really crazy high. And then we get to number 2, which is a foregone conclusion because I've talked about this before. And it is this one right here. It is Gucci Pour Homme 2. And again, one of my most favorite fragrances of all time. And here's what it looks like. The bottle is, again, gorgeous with its gold cap. And if there was any juice left in it, it would be sort of like a bluish kind of thing. Let me see. Oh yeah, there's still some puffs coming out like this. Ooh, yeah, lovely. What's that? Tea, violet, yeah, great, fantastic. This is summertime, house music in the summertime. This is how I describe this fragrance. I don't care about spraying it because I've got a ton of backup bottles. If you watched my fragrances that I've repurchased, I didn't make the mistake that I did with Gucci Pour Homme 1, with Gucci Pour Homme 2, and I got me a ton of backup bottles. So I'll never run out of this, hopefully. And yeah, that's my number 2. Number 1, as you all know, it cannot be anything other than my most favorite fragrance of all time. And you're not wrong, because it is this one. It is Gucci Pour Homme 1, discontinued masterpiece. Almost $1,000 a bottle now on the grey market. It's been discontinued for a while, and there's absolutely nothing left in here. I can't even smell the smell anymore. So very, very sad that I do not have that, but I am left with this tiny sort of 5 ml dab bottle of this, which has got some juice left in it, and I am, yes, just sick because this is all I have left. But this is a discontinued masterpiece. If you find this, get it. Don't even question yourself. Again, it is church. It is beautiful. It is smoky. It's resinous. It's incense. It's paper. It's what is this? Pencil shavings. I don't get the pencil shavings. I just get church, and I love it. It's absolutely fantastic, and I would wear it all the time if I could. But it's discontinued, unfortunately. And as we discontinue things, more and more things to come, I wonder what in my collection will get more attention from me as soon as I find out it's been discontinued. And I wonder if we do some kind of analytics on fragrance sort of directories that have reviews, and what the reviews or what the ratings were, and what the type of language of the reviews were prior to its discontinuation and then after its discontinuation. I wonder if we look back and sort of think about the memories, because it's no longer there to help you make new memories. that you're constantly looking back, and then you're looking back with sort of rose-tinted glasses, because that's what you generally do. And you think about the fragrance in the past, which sort of makes it better. Just like when you go to a funeral and you want to give a eulogy for someone who's passed away, you don't stand there in front of all their grieving relatives and say, that guy was a bastard. You might, but it's not the popular thing to do. So it's not the done thing either. So most of the time people will stand there and give a eulogy for a discontinued fragrance, saying they were fantastic, even though in the time that they were in production, it was average. But all the ones I've mentioned so far, and I've mentioned 18 of them specifically, because I've got more that have been discontinued, but I didn't choose them. I chose these because I consider them masterpieces, absolutely. And I hope you enjoyed this series. Thank you very much for watching, and if you're subscribed, thank you again. And once again, thanks for watching.